Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Motivation on Monday, where each one teach one. Myself and Philia are here joining you guys on this great special day, which is Memorial Day. And we just want to salute all those that have served and those that have gone, transition. Let us continue to remember them in our thoughts. If you have any family out there, you know what Memorial Day is all about. Philly, you want to enlighten it a little bit?
Yeah, so Memorial Day is a time when a lot of our veterans have fought for our country. They risked their lives to better our country. They risked out their lives to save us, and we are memorializing those that have passed and even the ones that are living, just to show that we are grateful for their service to their country and service to protect us all. So, happy Memorial Day to the veterans. Happy Memorial Day to those who have passed, and we appreciate the families that have been there to continue their legacies.
Great. All
That's
right.
right.
Father, thank you for your wonder of creation. Thank you for being the King of glory. Thank you for being our Father, our Redeemer, Shepherd, and King. Thank you for reconciling us to your Son, Jesus, our Savior. Help us to love and worship you completely with our hearts, souls, and mind and strength. Thank you for the high calling you have given us, for the opportunity to serve you. We hope that you stand in amaze no matter what we go through. You are faithful. We know that your circumstances do not change you, but you change circumstances. You are our anchor in the midst of a storm. We promise to serve you in no other name, but in Jesus' name I pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, so word of the week.
Word of the week is savvy. That's SAAVY. Now, to be savvy is to be able to weave in and out of situations, to be flexible, to have knowledge and all know in things that are encompassing you. That is savvy. So, when you are savvy, you could be business savvy, you could be technologically savvy. It's just being able to navigate your way in and out of different forums. Savvy.
Oh, savvy. It's like,
Yes.
saucy, savvy.
Saucy, savvy, sexy.
I know, right? So, how's your day going so far?
It's going well. I actually just came from a barbecue. I got in a couple of minutes ago. Even though it was raining, I love the fact that people don't let their circumstances. Actually, that's kind of being savvy. You just still do it. You do it on the inside, and you still have the fun that you want to have. So that was very good. It was actually Kwan's godmother and god sister, and they got to meet me for the first time. So that was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, meeting the family.
Eh,
It was
well, that's great.
awesome.
That's great.
Thank
All right.
you.
So I have a health tip for you guys today. And
Hmm.
we want to talk a little bit about what is bile. Now, remember, guys, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just going to reference it. Bile is a greenish yellowish fluid produced by the liver and stored in the gallbladder that has several functions, including bile is break down fats into fatty acids that the body can absorb through the digestive tract. Bile, as we said before, it's greenish. And normally, when you have bile, waste elimination. Bile contains beryllium bile, a waste product of hemoglobin, which is secreted into bile so it can pass through the digestive system and leave the body in feces. Bile neutralizes the acid pH of the chyme from the stomach before it enters the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine. Bile salts acts as bacterial sites to destroy microorganisms in the ingestion of food. So, sometimes people always have like stomach problems and different things like that. So, I mean, bile is a very important part of our body, right?
Yes, good function. Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting about bile because that, when you think of like sometimes right when you feel nauseous, you know that's the stuff that tends to come up before you actually throw up, and it's like a bitter
Right.
aftertaste and you start feeling it. And sometimes when you have an acid reflux, that all of sometimes it's composed of bile plus acid and different fluids that's in your stomach. So it's a very strong, powerful liquid that breaks down food. So that's why you when you eat, it helps all with your digestive system. It helps break down the food into smaller parts so that it can take nutrients to your body. So it's a very powerful thing to have. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said that some of the system can include nausea, as you said, dizziness,
Hmm.
and fatigue.
Right.
Bile
Right.
acid deficiency that leads to fat may cause weight loss if you have
Mhm.
trouble digesting enough calories. In other cases, bile acid malabsorption causes weight gain. This seems to
Mhm.
be related in the metabolism, So again,
Right.
bile is important for the human body. You know what I mean?
I love
So
these health tips because I think sometimes we take for granted how our body works. So hearing these
yes,
things makes us more conscious about it. So thank you for that health tip.
right, good. And we want to say thank you guys for logging in. Share the page, like the page. Melvin is on. Philip is here. Thank you guys for always, you know,
Logging in,
being our guests and
supporting.
logging in and supporting us. No matter it's Memorial Day, we
It's
here
Memorial
and
Day. Y'all should be chilling and partying, but you're here with us. So thank you. We love you. We appreciate
exactly. And we want to say, if you're celebrating a birthday today,
you.
happy
Happy
birthday!
birthday.
Yeah, may God continue to bless you guys richly,
Yes.
and just love upon yourself.
Yeah.
Another day, right?
Another day, another dollar. We love it. And if you've already celebrated a birthday, well, before, after last Monday, happy birthday to you all then.
Yes, yes.
We love and
So,
appreciate you.
Philia, so
Mhm.
we have an interesting topic today. Good night, beautiful ladies. Greets all the way from Wakanda,
All
Nevada.
right. Wakanda
Thank you,
forever.
Philip. um, we're gonna get back Philia in a little bit. Philia, you
Yeah, I'm
hear
right
me?
here.
Okay, you
I'm here.
disappeared just now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, so our topic for today, we want to talk a little bit about emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah. Excellent.
And
I love that topic.
you want me to read a little about it?
Yes, please. That would be really great.
Okay, so what emotional intelligence look like and understanding four skills. To truly improve your ability in the four emotional intelligence skills, you need to better understand each skill and what it looks like in action. The four emotional intelligence skills pair up under two primary components, right?
Mhm.
Personal competence and social competence. Personal competence is made up of your self awareness and self management skill, which focus more on your individuality than on your interaction with others. People, personal competence is your ability to stay aware of your emotions and manage your behavior and tendencies. So we have the personal competence is like self-awareness, self-management, what you see, what you do. Social competence is social awareness and relationship management. The four that together make up emotional intelligence. The top two skills, self awareness and self management, are more about you. The bottom two skills, social awareness and relationship management, are more about how you are with other people. Social competence is up of your social awareness and relationship management skill. Social competence is your ability to understand other people's mood, behavior, motives in order to improve your quality of your relationship. Self-awareness, and we can go into them deeply.
Mhm.
So go ahead, Philly.
Okay, I really love
Philia?
this topic. Yes, you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I really love
Yes,
this.
I'm hearing you.
I love this topic of social emotional intelligence because not too many people have it. And the reason why I say it, and it's not to diss anybody or to throw subs, but social emotional intelligence is really an into in a high level of being able to understand yourself and understand others, knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to navigate waters of people's different emotions and still get
Right.
the best out of them,
Right.
understanding that you can't take things personal because people are who they are and you cannot
Right.
depend on them for your happiness. It's understanding that it's not your job to fix people.
Right.
It's your job to be supportive, if and helpful and guide them in the right direction, but it's
Correct.
not your job to fix them. So, and social emotional intelligence is encompassing all of those skills and characteristics. And I know you have great social emotional intelligence. I know I have great social emotional intelligence. And sometimes that comes from experience, being hurt many times and knowing what not to do. It's really sitting to really study people, getting to know others, sometimes learning to mind your business when it's necessary and
Right.
knowing when to intervene when it's necessary. So
Right.
it's really understanding how to navigate with other people's behavior, characteristics, and emotional stability as well as instability.
Correct.
So that's what so to really have a true understanding of social emotional intelligence, you have to have a good sense of self.
Right.
And because you can't go around giving advice to people when you don't take your own advice,
Correct. Yes.
you have to be a great steward of your own life. In a sense, you have
Right.
to be obedient. You
Right.
have to know how to follow your instincts,
Yes.
and sometimes not to be a busybody, you know
Yes.
right. So I
Right.
think because there are times you just want to be involved in everything, but you're really not sitting to understand. When someone is sitting in a corner, it may seem like they're fine, but when you have great social emotional intelligence, you can be able to depict or detect something what that person is not saying. You're able to pick up on that, or
Okay.
what that person is not showing you. You're able to pick up on that. So go ahead,
So,
sis.
so Philip is asking here question. Will
Hmm.
SEI stop you from speaking your mind? No. I would say
Yeah. No,
no.
I
No,
don't
Philip.
think
I
it
would say
does.
no. No.
Go ahead,
Because
sis. I'm sorry.
I am a person who speaks my mind, and I think my truth offends people, which I keep it 100. So for me,
Right.
my social intelligence will always speak my mind and will always get the better part of me, in the sense because I don't play around the bush. I say what it is, I see it, I say it, and that's it. However you feel, you can deal with it. But I think it would never stop me from speaking my mind, because if I do that, then I'm being a fake person. I'm not being true and real to myself.
Okay, so I see we're opposite in that, Phyllis, and I'm learning to navigate differently. I don't always speak my mind.
Right.
However, if you ask me, I will be honest. I won't lie.
Right.
So, and the
So
reason
it's
why
the
is because
same. It's the same.
right. So
Yeah.
the difference is, for me, I don't necessarily like to outwardly say things because I'm always afraid to offend people or careful to offend people. While it's like not just telling you like it is, not because you intentionally want to hurt somebody, you just honest. So your honesty sometimes might come across as abrasive when it's just honesty. Would you rather someone who's fake, or would you rather someone who's honest? We all say we want honest people and we want the truth, but when
Yeah.
we get it, we don't like it. So that's the great thing about you, is what you see is
Exactly.
what you get. Now, for me, what you see is what you get.
Right.
I don't necessarily interject myself, but if you come to me and ask me truly for my advice, you will always get that from me, no matter what. And I will always be a good listener. You may just come and you want to vent and talk. and I won't offer anything. I'll just be a listening board. I'll give you signs that I'm actually
Right.
hearing you, but I won't offer
Right.
advice, because then it would say Philia said, or then it becomes
Right.
something that can easily be misconstrued with gossiping or
Correct.
trying to get involved in things I shouldn't. So that's where I exercise my social emotional intelligence. I say, if you need me, I'm always going to be
Right.
here, and I will always show up for you. And
And
you
I'm
have
like
that
that too.
ability as well. The only
Yeah.
difference is that you do speak your mind, and I don't always speak my mind.
Yeah.
So,
And
mhm.
Philip is saying Miss Green is 100% correct.
Mhm.
Because I think that's, if I don't speak my mind, that's meaning I'm not true to myself.
Right,
I'm being fake. And I
right,
think when you reach a particular age, it is what it is.
right.
A, B, and C. You know what I mean? It's not like if you're playing games or anything. How you see it is so you see it.
Right.
So,
Very.
yes, Philip, I think always speak your mind.
Mhm.
All right,
It's
self
a very
awareness
important
is
thing.
the ability to accurately perceive your own emotion in the moment and understand your tendencies across situations. Self awareness includes staying on top of your typical reaction to specific events, challenges, and people. Understanding of your tendencies is important. It helps you quickly make sense of your reactions and avoid unnecessary reactions. Yeah. Philia?
I'm here. I
Yeah.
see you. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's a high degree of self awareness
Hmm.
requires a willingness to tolerate the discomfort of focusing on feelings that may be negative.
Mm. Okay. So I like when you mentioned this, Phyllis, because I think, for instance, I think even like there was recently I was having a discussion with Quan, and the discussion kind of went left. And I think because my feelings were a little bruised about the conversation, I snapped at him. And he
Right.
was a little taken aback, because it's like, wait a second, like, why are you snapping at me like that? And it was because I'm just also going through some other stuff, right?
Right.
So I had enough social emotional intelligence to say, hey, that wasn't warranted. It doesn't still mean that my feelings weren't hurt in the conversation. So it's like saying, I still want you to acknowledge that my
Right.
feelings are hurt, but it wasn't warranted for me to speak to you in a manner that might not have been suitable, or a manner that was disrespectful to you. But I'm still bothered. You understand?
Right.
That's a
Yes.
level of social emotional intelligence, because you're able to compartmentalize that the two can be in the same place. I'm upset, but I also know that I was wrong, but
Right.
I'm still upset. So you
Right.
can't take away those feelings, because at the end of the day, that's how I feel. But
Right.
I should not have said what I said, or I should not have responded to you in the way I responded to you, because
Correct.
you did not do anything wrong to me. I'm just, it's an additive of other things that I was already feeling, and because you are the closest person to me at the moment, you got the brunt of it.
And
That's
I
a
think
level of social
too,
emotional intelligence.
Philia, sometimes
Hmm.
you have to separate the both,
Correct.
especially in circumstances like that.
Right. Correct.
You
Very good. And
understand?
that's a level of social emotional intelligence. You're able to really sit down and do a self reflection about what's happening here. Or if you're in a heated discussion, some people choose to ignore, other
Right.
people engage, and other
Right.
people say, you know what, this is getting heated. Maybe we should take a break from this and
Yes.
reconvene when our emotions are less involved. Because I don't want to say something that I will regret,
Will
because when
regret.
you say something, you can't take it back. I don't care what
Correct.
you say, you said it.
Correct.
And if you said it, you probably mean it. And even if you didn't mean it, you still said it, which means it's an underlying emotion that you feel. So sometimes when things get out of hand, it's good for one person, if not both, say, hey, let's stop right here, because we don't want to continue down this rabbit hole. Because if we do, sometimes it's a point of no return. And no matter how much we make up, or how much we're fine, or how much you apologize, or how much we talk about it, I'm not going to say it's water under the bridge, but there's always that little
Right.
mental note in the back of your head that, It's
Correct.
just a mental note. I'm not saying the person is going to use it against you, but it doesn't go away.
Right.
It never goes away. And then eventually
Exactly.
those things sometimes add up and causes issues later.
And
So
that's why I always say too, we
Mhm.
as human beings have to always watch what we say and how we deliver. And me
Correct.
personally, I think your past is your past. That don't need to be bring up in the future. If you're
Correct.
meeting someone today, they don't need to know your life story. We are
Right.
what we are, and you keep it moving. Because
Right.
I think too, when something, a disagreement or anything happen, that person intends to throw back things into your face. And
Right.
when you're thinking it's a safe space, it's not a safe space. So that's why a lot of people now do not express a lot of things because of the throwing back in your face and
Yeah,
different
they're
things like
afraid.
that. Once
And,
again, thank
and
you
they're
all
worried.
for logging in, Anna,
Thank you, love.
Leslie Ann, Eddie. Thank you,
Mhm.
Susan, everyone.
Yes. And
Yeah.
sis.
I want to read this too. Self-awareness. Mm-hmm.
No, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Read, please. No, I was just basically saying about the throwing back in
Ah,
your face. Some people might not see it as throwing it back in the face. They might see it as I'm just being honest. But there's a time and place to say things. So when you're saying it in a heated discussion or a disagreement, it feels like throwing it in your face, even if the thing that you're saying might be true, but that's not the place to mention it. When you're mad or when you're upset or when
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
feeling some type of way,
Yeah.
because that's why the
Yes.
intentions
I
are not
believe in
always the greatest.
as you said, there's a time
Mhm.
and place.
Right, right, exactly. So go ahead with your reading. I'm sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, so self-awareness. Okay, so self-awareness is the foundational skill. When you have it, self-awareness make the other emotional intelligence skill much easier to use. A self-awareness increase people satisfaction with life, defined as their ability to reach their goals at work and at home, skyrocket. Self-awareness is so important for job performance that 83% of people high in self-awareness are top performance and just 2% are bottom performance are high in self-awareness. And they are saying here is that I can read something. What people who work with him say. Dave has clear long-term goals. He doesn't make sacrifices for short-term gains. Dave is upfront kind of a guy who doesn't play mind games with people. I've witnessed this at a company meeting and in the meeting with customers. The best example I can provide for Dave is his move to our company. I'm sure there was an intense desire to make changes within the local team right out of the gate. But Dave took extra care to diagnose the situation, the team, and the customer prior, prior to offering suggestions and mandates for change. In short, Dave manages his emotional, they don't manage him. I've seen him accept difficult business news with brief frown, and then he quickly moves beyond that and partners with his team to find solution to improve the situation. You understand? So that is some of the skills that people can use, um, when they find themselves in a situation like that.
Right. I think that, yeah, that is so apt to mention that, because when you're finding yourself in these situations, that's the time that you have to exercise sometimes some restraint in the things and your approach, and you have to really be intelligent in thinking about what processes you're going to take when you're going through these different types of things. And I think that's all part of the intelligence that you use for your social emotional skills.
And I want to give you another example.
Okay.
What a lack of self awareness looks like. On
Okay.
occasion, Tanya's stress and sense of urgencies are projected, pushed
Mhm.
on to the other people. It will be good for her to better understand how her behavior affects others, work, and emotional stress. Also, she sometimes comes across as defensive or aggressive. So, for her to be more aware of her tone and language will be helpful. When things are going well for Tanya, Her emotional intelligence skills are stronger. She needs to learn to read herself and recognize her triggers so that she can respond more effectively when triggered. She needs to become aware of how she perceives. She can come across as being very demanding, but I don't believe she means to. Again, Philip is saying bringing this into a workspace a little bit. One don't have to be on the same in the area of social and emotional intelligence. It really is a development because not everyone is par, and you find out that when you are having a very intelligent conversation, some people quickly get cold and can't comprehend your social emotional intelligence, which most times to envy, jealousy, and possible attack from supposed leaders that are supposed to be the SME and the SEI, which is the subject matter expert. So this is so concrete that Philip hit the nail on the head.
Thank you, Philip.
Yes, Philip. Yes,
Yeah,
that was good.
that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because really, when you doing what you have to do, the envy and jealousy, when they find you climbing the ladder, it steps in.
Right.
And then,
Right.
the bring go carry go backstabbing um starts to project, and
Yes.
they want to outshow you when they're not really as intelligent. But
Right.
they find you shouldn't be on that level and tend to feel that they can hold you back or do and say things that
Right.
could damage you,
Right.
you know? So that's a great point, Philip.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I agree, Philip. I think that's a great point. And I think what happens is that sometimes people can't handle when you kind of have your stuff together. They want to
Yeah.
see you fall, they want to see your flaws. And
Yeah.
when you seem unbothered, or when you are unbothered, sometimes people don't like that. They want you to feed into the frenzy, and all what's part of the social emotional intelligence is knowing when to back down and knowing when to fight. It's all of that is part of it, because that if you're not going to engage, then there's no fuel for the fire. It
Yeah.
dies out, and you can fight by yourself, but I'm
I
not
know.
going to be involved. I'm going to ignore and delete.
And I mean, this brings back a memory to me too, because I like this quote from Maya Angelou when she say, a person who show you who they are, that's who they are.
That's
They
who
can't
they
help
are. Yeah.
themselves.
Right.
And
And
then,
like you
yeah,
said, sis, that's a wonderful quote, because you can't hide from being who you are for so long. There's only but so long you could pretend. But
yes,
the truth will always surface no matter what. And when they show you that side, that's the side. That's
that's
it.
the side.
Not a
Yeah.
mistake. It's not, that's the side.
Yeah. And I always look at people face value like that in my life
Mm-hmm.
now,
Right.
when they show you who they are, they can't help themselves. That's who they are,
That's
you
who
know?
they are. Yeah.
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 All right.
I
So
agree.
I'm going to
Good point.
move on now to self-management, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Self-management is what happens when you act or do not act. It is dependent on your self-awareness and is the second major part of your personal competence. Self-management is your ability to use your awareness of your emotion to stay flexible and direct your behavior positively. This
Mm-hmm.
means managing your emotional reaction to situation and people. Some emotional some emotions create a paralyzed fear that makes you thinking so cloudy that the best course of action is now to be founded, assuming that there's something you should be doing. In case this self management is relieved by your ability to tolerate the uncertainty as you explore your emotions and options. Once you understand and build comfort with what you are feeling, the best course of action will show itself. Self management is more than resisting explosive or problematic behavior. The biggest challenge that people face is managing their tendencies over time and applying their skills in a variety of situations. Obvious and monetary opportunities for self awareness, that is, I'm so mad at this damn dog, are the easiest to spot and manage. Real results come from putting your monetary needs on hold to pursue larger, more important goals. The realization of such goals is often delayed, meaning that your commitment to self management will be tested over and over. Those who manage themselves the best are able to see things through without cracking. Success comes to those who can put their needs on hold and continue managing their tendencies. That is a strong one too, I think.
Yeah. I think yeah, that's a good one. I think yes, that self control is really really important
Yeah.
because when you fly off the handle, people
Yeah.
always say that you losing it. You don't have all the screws in place. You
Yes.
can't control your emotions, and as human beings, we let our emotions get the best of us
Yes.
all the time.
The time.
It's like you're in traffic and someone drives you bad, you start
Yeah.
having road rage, you start
Yeah.
cursing, you start putting the middle finger up, and all you're doing is endangering your life and the lives of others because at that moment you did not exhibit self-control.
Right.
So the whole aspect of social emotional intelligence is being knowing when to utilize these skills and when to fall back. When is it necessary voice heard, and also when to maybe keep it quiet and just watch and observe. um as I said about the really knowing how to be savvy with your intellect, with your emotions, with society. That's why it's called social emotional intelligence.
Right. And I think too that is so important because sometimes when we are in situations, uh, we always have to listen to that inner voice,
Yes.
to calm us, to let
Hmm.
us think before reacting, and to have that self awareness to say, you know what, Philia, you're not taking me there today. You're not going
Right.
to steal my joy today. You
I'm
know?
not gonna let you take me there. I know what this looks like. I
Yes.
know what this is going to end up being like, and I already know I don't want to feel those things. So you
Right.
know what? I'm not gonna engage. You can engage on your
Right.
own. I'm going to
Yes.
ignore and move on.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
Right.
And I think
So
too, pulling away and knowing when enough is enough.
yes.
Yes.
Very good point. Very good point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. That was good there. All right. What's okay? Let's go. Social awareness. As the
Okay.
first component of social competence, social awareness is the foundational skill. Social awareness is your ability to accurately pick up on emotion in other people and understand what is really going on with them. This
Hmm.
often means perceiving what other people are thinking and feeling, even if you don't feel the same way. It's easy to get caught up in our own emotion and forget to consider the perspective of the other party. Social awareness ensure you stay focused and absorb critical information. I think that one is very important. Okay, let's see what Philip is saying. Truly, self management, self control helps you understand the difference between war and battle. That's a good one, Phil.
That's a great one, Philip. Oh, it's
Yes.
all the Phils. Phil, and Phil.
Yeah, right. Hey, look at
All the
that, girl.
Dr. Phils in the house.
All the
But
Dr. Phil. Phil, and Phil.
Phil, and Phil. So, yes, I think that's a great point. That
Great
that that
point,
Philip,
Phil.
yeah, Philip makes out. That's really good. Good point. You are on it tonight,
Yeah.
boy, Philip. I
Yeah.
love
Philip, you're on point tonight. Okay, Wakanda? Right.
it.
All right. Listening and observing are the most important elements of social awareness. To listen well and observe what's going on around us, we have to stop doing many things we like to do. We have to stop talking, stop the monologue that may be running through our mind, stop anticipating the point that the other person is about to make. and stop thinking ahead of what we are going to say next. It takes practice to really watch people as you interact with them and get a good sense of what they are thinking and feeling.
That's
That is
great.
important, right?
That's important. You know what this reminds me of? When you're listening, like let's just say you're having a discussion with someone. Sometimes, especially like if it's a disagreement, you're always listening for what the person says that's inaccurate. So if they
Right.
said, "Oh, you always going out," it's like, "No, I don't always go out. I only went out 8 times." It's like
Right.
you're missing the point. That the
Yes,
point is not the always. The point is you to go out. Period. That's it.
exactly.
So skip over those things that are nonsense and just listen to the spirit of what I'm saying. And
Right.
that takes practice
Practice.
because you have to. I know for me, because I'm constantly interjecting, I sometimes put my phone on mute on purpose so that if I want to say something, the person they hear it anyway, right? So I give, and that's what I used to do. I used
Right.
to hold on, let me finish, please. I used to try to I used to do that until I was able to exhibit my own self-control where I could say, you know what, even if the person is saying something incorrectly, let
Right.
me hear the entire thing. Then I can answer that question. And then I could start to say, okay, well, you do say
Right.
always, which is an
Yes.
exaggeration. It's not always, it's sometimes, and blah, blah, blah. And now, if I want to get into that after I've addressed the real serious stuff, fine. But that used to be me. And I think that was because I didn't exercise great listening skills.
Right.
I just wanted to hear what you're gonna say that's wrong so I could win. Everything is a competition. Everything is about who's gonna win this battle. But
Right.
it can't be about the winning. It's about the end results, about the journey. It's about the things that you do to get there. And it's really about really listening to what the person is actually saying. And don't
Yeah.
worry about your needs at that moment. Let the person finish, then you can articulate your thoughts.
And I think too, as we grow older, our
Hmm.
listening skill becomes more. You know,
Right.
we listen more than speak, you know, because we want to hear what you have to say. So I think, you know, it's always good. Like now I listen a lot and I watch a lot. I may not mention it right there and then, but I'm going to mention it. But I
Right.
watch your action. I watch your ways. I watch, you know, how you walk, how you talk, and things like that. As you grow older, I think your antennas grow stronger, to
Hmm.
put it like that, right?
Good
All right.
point. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
At times, you will feel like an anthropologist make their living watching others in their natural state without letting their own thoughts and feelings disturb the observation. This social awareness is its purest form. The difference is won't be 100 yards away watching even unfold through a pair of binoculars. To be socially aware, you have to spot and understand people's emotion while they are right there and in the middle of it and contributing yet absolutely aware members of the interaction. And they have an example here. Alfonso has a rare talent to be able to read the emotions of others very well. He adjusts to different situations and manages to build relationship with almost anyone. Good examples are dinners, meeting, and ride along with reps. Alfonso doesn't and does an excellent job relating to frustration reps have with other departments within our company. He is always looking out for their reps and their ability to put himself in the rep shoes and ask himself what's going on with the situation. People become very loyal to Alfonso. So again, you know, it's different ways and techniques that you could get your point across. Some people sometimes doesn't know how to do that.
Right. I think that's a good point. I think also learning to empathize when so there's a difference between empathy and
Yes,
sympathy. When you're
yes,
sympathizing, you're just kind of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," but when you're empathizing, you're walking in that person's shoes. I know what it feels like to lose a father. Or I know what it
right.
feels like to lose a sibling, or I know what you're going through. I know what it is to go through a divorce. I know what it is to
Yeah,
feel like you're not a good mom or whatever the case might be. So
That,
I think when you really understand empathy and not just feel sorry for people like it's a pity
right.
party, I think that helps a lot with your social emotional intelligence as well. So
I think so too.
good
Good
point.
night,
Good
Dr.
point.
Andy Asula in the house. Andy, it was a pleasure. I saw your wife today. Very nice. Anyhow,
So
so
hello, Dr. Andy.
yes. So the next one I want to point on is relationship management.
Okay.
Though relationship management is the second component of the social competence, this skill often taps into your ability in the first three: emotional intelligence skill and self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. Relationship management is your ability to use your awareness of your own emotion and those of others to manage interaction successfully. You want us to talk about this point before I go on?
Yeah,
Oh,
repeat that the last sentence you said. What did you say again? I think I lost my train of thought with that one.
okay, so let me read over again.
Yes.
Tapped into your ability in the first three: emotional intelligence skill,
Mhm.
self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. Relationship management is your ability to use your awareness of your own emotion and of those of others to manage interaction successfully.
Okay, good. So self-awareness is just the ability of understanding yourself in all
Self.
levels.
Yes.
Self-management is knowing how you navigate
Yes.
those emotions around others.
Right.
And what was the third one?
Um, so it is self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness.
Social awareness, right? And that's how you navigate amongst others. So you have it down packed for yourself. And that's why at the beginning, before you even started to read, I said having social emotional intelligence is really having a great sense of self first, so
Yes.
that you can be able to use those same skills to try to get to know others, to try to understand people, having a great understanding of human nature, dynamics of people, being able to be keen in watching and not just talking all the time. Sometimes sitting back to observe, because that's how you're able to really see people in their true character. Because
Right.
sometimes people talk to hide things, but when they're
Yes.
not talking, that's when you really see really how they are. So I think, yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And that's why sometimes, like, it's funny because I prefer smaller crowds, even though I do public speaking and I don't really have a fear of it. But
Right.
when I'm in large crowds, I feel the most alone. But when I'm in smaller crowds, that's when I feel really lively and everything else. And people don't believe, they don't think that, because they're like, oh, you life of the party, you're this, you're that. But that's not
Yeah.
really the case for me. It's like
Yeah.
I feel more alone when too many people are around.
Right.
You start to see me, I end up in a corner somewhere, and
Yes.
it's like, you
Yeah.
okay, Philly? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good,
Yeah.
because it's like it's too much. It's too much
Yeah.
stimulation, and no matter how much I might be jovial and I can have a good time, I'm really okay being by myself. Like
Right.
it's just something I have to learn. I can get out of. So
Social skills.
right, because that's the social skills, right? It's
Yes.
like I'm not socially awkward at all. I
Right.
can definitely pipe up a conversation very easily with people,
Yeah.
but I'm also very comfortable by myself too. I'm very comfortable to be in a corner. I don't need the music, I don't need the noise. I'm just
Yes.
okay. I'm in my head and I'm thinking of new ways to invest, new ways to improve myself, new ways to, yeah, those are the things I do. So I'm never bored. I'm
Right.
always doing something like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why I have a keen sense of people, because I've learned to just go in a corner and just watch people. Just
Yes.
watch them, and I could just tell by your actions how you are as a person. I can tell within meeting you pretty much how you are. So when people get over, they're not getting over. I'm letting you get over because I'm also a
Yes.
conflict avoider, but not
Right.
because I don't know what's going on. I
Right.
trust me, I'm already ahead of you. I already knew you were gonna do this. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I just need to figure out how I'm either gonna break it to you or how I'm gonna
Right.
exit this relationship. So that's
Exactly. And you know
got it.
what too?
Mm-hmm.
June has a good sense of that also. Self-awareness,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. She's not a talker either. But from the time
Right.
she feel your vibes or she touch you, she could tell
Right.
something's up, until
Something is up. Yep.
revelation. Until
Until
revelation.
revelation. Until D-Day.
Yes. And he's
Right.
saying, that's my topic I teach weekly, but I will
Oh,
just listen. I speak of this in my soon to release book, Amidst My
yes.
Emotions and Feeling, a faith-based self-help workbook. So, and the book that he's writing, remember he told us last week that
Yes,
his book
yes.
is coming out. We have
So
to have our book club
we
filled with,
will have our book, Andy. We will definitely support. And I
yes.
think this is also confirmation that we're on the right path, sis. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, that's
I
thank you,
love it.
Andy. All right.
Thank you,
So
Andy.
relationship management is your
Mhm,
ability to use your awareness of your own emotion and of
mhm.
those of others to manage interaction successfully. This
Yes.
ensures clear communication and effective handling of conflict. Relationship management is also the bond you build with others over time. People who manage relationship well are able to see the benefit of connecting with many different people, even those that are not fond of, that you're
Mm-hmm.
not fond of. Solid
Mm-hmm.
relationship are sometimes that should be sought and cherished. They are the result of how you understand people, how you treat them, and the history you share. The weaker the connection you have with someone, the harder it is to get your point across. If
Mm-hmm.
you want people to listen, you have to practice relationship management and seek benefits from every relationship, especially the challenging ones. The difference between an interaction and a relationship is the matter of frequency. It's product of the quality, depth, and time you spend interacting with another person. Relationship management poses the greatest challenge for most people during times of stress when you consider that more than 70% of people who are tested have difficulty handling stress. It's easy to see why building quality relationship poses a challenge. Some of the most challenging and stressful situations people face at work, conflict at work tends to fester when people passively avoid problems because people lack the skill needing to initiate a direct yet constructive conversation. Conflict at work tend to explode when people don't manage their anger or frustration and choose to take out it on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship management gives you the skill you will need to avoid both scenarios and make the most out of every interaction you have with another person. Amen to that.
Amen. That is so on
Oh,
point.
good.
Remember when I
Yes.
said I'm a conflict avoider, right?
Yes.
And I'm not, I can't call myself that now because I don't believe I am now. I definitely do speak my mind. But I also am also very careful to hurt people's feelings because I know people are very sensitive to things about themselves. But that whole explosive stuff, yes, that's
Yes.
why in my past relationships, my past marriages, I would not say anything if I'm hurt. But then
Right.
that one thing that they do, the straw that breaks the camel's back, everything is unleashed. All the things I felt about them, all these horrible things that I've been feeling, and they're like, I'm scared to sleep next to you because the stuff that you said about me, and you've been thinking these things for all these years. So I realized that I had to stop doing that. I had to stop
Right.
harboring all of these feelings and not express them. And that's where I think I started to learn social emotional intelligence. It took me having these horrible breakups,
Right.
contentious relationships where there's a lot of toxicity and me just wailing out all these things that will hurt the ego because I want you to now feel all that pain that you put me through for these
Right.
past 20 years. You're going to
Right.
hear it for the next 20 hours. I will be relentless with my mouth and I will take you down to the core because I'm intelligent enough to know exactly the things that bother you. And I'm going to tell you about those things. So
Right.
that used to be my fight. That was the way I fought back. I
Right.
would not say anything, but that one day you
Yes.
you you
Everything will
cross me the wrong
come
way.
like if you're trying to purify your body where
Right.
you regurgitate it and everything just comes up.
Everything. And I
Yeah.
had well, you know. So I've learned over the years that it's best to be honest about the things you feel, have an intelligent conversation, try to take your emotions out of it, be clear about what your intentions are,
Right.
and find a possible resolution. Sometimes some things can't be resolved immediately, but always say, let's come back to this. Let's circle around this. Let's see, let's try this different thing and come back to this next week or 2 weeks and let's revisit this conversation. I think that is a very healthy way of dealing with contention between friends, family, loved ones. It doesn't matter. A relationship is a relationship at the end of the day. But
Right.
if you want to develop healthy relationships, I think the foundation has to be strong.
I think so too. And I think too, as we grow older, we learn how to communicate, how to express ourselves. And that's
Mhm.
why I say sometimes, like people who curse, not saying that I don't curse, but people that curse all the time, they have no vocabulary because
Yes,
they can use words instead of cursing, you
right.
know?
I
And
agree. Yeah,
I think they
they
can
lack.
just, they lack knowledge, they
Yeah.
lack everything else, and they
Mhm.
think cursing, that's okay. No, it
Right.
isn't, you
Yeah.
know.
You could
So
you could insult somebody and not use one profanity.
one,
And it's like, what? I don't even know
yeah,
what that means, but I know it hurts because you said some crazy stuff just now to me without even saying one curse word. So yeah, I agree
right,
with you. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
but it's a skill that we
It
have
takes
to,
practice.
yeah,
You're not born
develop.
with it. So
And
yeah, you
it,
develop.
it takes a lot of practice. And I think too we should do a part two, because I think there is so much depth that we could go into also
Hmm.
about emotional intelligence,
Right.
especially too, as we say before, being self-aware of
Mhm.
your self-awareness, your emotional,
Right.
there's so many things that we could do. But I think, as you say tonight, empathy is one of them that we need to really master,
Hmm.
and we mustn't be quick to be judge anyone. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
We
I
should
agree.
become better people instead of us judging. Just look at every situation differently.
Differently, right? I agree. And that whole thing with, and that's why sometimes we don't say things because we don't want to be judged, but people are always judging. Most of the time they are. And unless someone really just knows your story and has a good understanding of who you are, once you can get past that judgment free zone, I think you can start to develop a healthy relationship with people and of yourself as well. So that's why having a keen sense of self is really the first step in developing social emotional intelligence. Is understanding yourself so that in relationship to others, for sure.
Right. And I just want to read this one. The physical pathway of emotional intelligence starts in the brain, at that
Mm.
spinal cord. Your primary sense enter here and must travel to the front of your brain before you can think rationally about your experience. But first, they travel through the limbic system, the place where emotions are experienced. Emotional intelligence requires effective communication between the rational and emotional center of your brain. So we have to start to use that a little more often, don't you think?
I agree. Um, and it's so interesting when you listen to the dynamic of how the body
Yeah.
controls this. Like it's the front lobe, the back
Yes.
lobe, the cerebellum, the medulla, all these things are all part of the body is a machine. Like it's
Yeah.
a well-oiled machine. It knows exactly what it needs to be doing. And just when you have feel good hormones, the oxytocins, when you do something good, what it does to your body
Yeah.
versus when adrenaline is pumping and you doing other things. Like it's a very interesting thing when you listen to your body and you start to understand these
Yeah.
things. Very
And
good.
again, I think it gets us more self-aware, and as you
Right.
say, we listen more now before we speak, or
Right.
in situation where someone comes to beg you for something, maybe a cup of coffee, or instead of giving them money, Don't try to say it's drugs they're going to buy. They may want something to eat. You just
Right.
go and get them something to eat. Andy's saying there's an emotional intelligence test that is for free.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
there is.
Andy,
And
please.
Andy, what's the website? If you have the website, Andy, could you put it in for us? Everyone can take it, and probably next week we can touch on
We
it
could talk about
and
it.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
because
Andy's so
remember, it is,
resourceful. Thank you, Dr.
yeah,
Andy.
self-awareness, self-management, relationship management, social awareness. And there is a tree here that say changes tolerance, aware assertiveness, social skill, customer service, accountability, flexibility, presentation skill, communication, time management, empathy, stress tolerance, anger management, trust. So it's a whole dynamic of really social intelligence. If we go in depth into it, there's a lot that we didn't cover tonight. We just opened the
Yeah, we
can.
just touched the surface.
Yeah, we just touched the surface about it.
That's good.
But there is a test. So if I find it, I will tag it onto this podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it on so everyone could go and take it themselves, right?
Awesome.
Once again, guys, Swag 6 is coming up, 15th of June. Get your
That's
tickets. That's a
in no
couple
time.
away.
About 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, it's all about having a wonderful time. Come out, join, and have fun. Okay, Andy put it on here.
Thank you.
For on Facebook, guys who log on to just press the link and you can go straight to the quiz. So Andy, thank you so
Thank
much
you, Dr.
for putting
Andy.
it on for us. Dr.
Always
Andy
resourceful.
Ansola. Yes.
Love it.
So with that said, I'm in Orlando right now, heading back home soon, and I just wanted to, touch base with you guys. I had a wonderful weekend with my niece and couple
Beautiful.
friends, and I party like a rock star, Philia.
I know,
But
I see, but maybe next year I'll join you. I'm in the
yeah,
process of my moving, so
yeah,
next year, God willing, I'm there
God
live.
willing. Yes. So again, please, YouTube Phyllis Worrell, subscribe to the People's Chat Room also every
Yes.
Saturday from 12 to 2. And Philia, can you give them your podcast handles?
Yes, please subscribe to Treading Faith. So you can find Treading Faith at treadingfaith.captivate.fm. We also are on every podcast platform. So you can find us there. Again, treading like treading water and faith. Thank you.
Yes. All right, guys. Again, you can share this podcast. Love Any House always.
Yes.
Each one, teach one. Philia, thank you. Where are you guys located and where you are? Oh, we are located in New York, but right now I am on location in Orlando and Philia is in New York.
I'm in New York.
Yes, Anthony Worrell. So we are in New York area.
Yes.
That's my cousin. Have to be a cousin, but he's Bajan, right?
All right. That's my cousin. Hey, cuz.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a blessed, wonderful, and safe Memorial Day.
Bye,
Remember,
everybody.
guys, what the reason of Memorial Day is. We already said it. Just continue to lift up families that have fallen soldiers and just love on each one, check on the elderly, be safe out there, be vigilant, and love in the house. Good night, everyone who was on this podcast, Terry, and everyone. Too much names.
Too many names, but we thank all of you. We love all of you. Thank you for your avid support, love, and let's continue to love one another, walk in peace, walk in love, and just be there to love thy neighbor. Thank you, guys.
All the time.
All the time.
Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye, babies.
Okay.